Hello, everybody. It is, what day is it? Is it Thursday? I don't even know. This week has been crazy, you guys. It definitely got harder and harder and harder for me to focus on classes for the Crochet Business Summit. So this is the day 4 recap for the Crochet Business Summit classes. And I actually binge watched 5 out of the 6 classes today, like just now. So I just got done watching them all in succession, taking my notes, because I just couldn't do it this morning. So I woke up, I had orders to get done on Etsy, and I had to go to the post office and get some groceries, and it was just kind of good for me to step back and step away and be like, okay, I'll watch these later. But there were a lot of great classes. There were a lot of classes that I wanted to watch today, and I've got a lot of people saying hello from different countries. Thanks for joining in. I see Argentina and Israel and Uruguay. So welcome. So glad to have you joining in. I have a lot of new followers from different countries, which has been really cool. I'm not sure what has happened, but Instagram has definitely been pushing a lot of my reels to a lot of new people, which has been really cool. I'm so glad for the new followers and people wanting to be a part of this little community. Hi from New Hampshire. And so you guys know, I am in the US. I am in Alabama. So the good old state sweet home Alabama here in the US. Got someone from Brazil. Hello. So these recaps, I do not usually go live in the afternoon. So my Instagram live time is normally Fridays at 12 p.m. Central Time. But because this week was the Crochet Business Summit, I wanted to come on after each day of the summit and just give you guys a little recap of my takeaways, the notes that I've taken, and just kind of give you guys a little bit of a rundown. And the Crochet Business Summit is for anyone who is looking to make money doing crochet or something in the crochet community, even if you do it as a hobby. Even if we do things as a hobby or as a part-time job, we all want to be able to maximize that profit without maybe having to work ourselves to death. And so this is helpful. And it's also helpful if you want to start a YouTube channel, or if you wanted to start a vlog, or if you wanted to start a blog, or if you wanted to learn a little bit more about customer service, things like that. So there were a lot of different things that you could do. Today was the final day. And like I said, this morning, I was not feeling up to trying to catch any of the live videos, but the videos were available to watch with the free ticket through tomorrow. So each day you would have like a full 24 hours or so to watch, or 48 hours, full 2 days to watch the videos before they disappear. Or you can upgrade and get an all access pass, and you'll have access to all of the classes, lifetime access to the classes. So that's an option, and you can still do that. I left the link in my bio, so if you're interested in checking out all of these different classes, you can do that for free. You can see what the schedule was like, and if it's something that you're interested in for your business, you can purchase the all access pass, and you'll have access to all of these videos for as long as you need access to them. So I do want to go through the notes that I've taken today, and all of the classes except for yarn dyeing. So there was a class today all about the basics of yarn dyeing, which right now is not something that I really wanted to jump into. So I did not watch that class. And again, I binge watched all of these back to back to back to back. They were all about 20 to 30 minutes. So was about all I could take to do 5 of the classes in a row. But they were really good. So the first class that I watched was with Knititude, Chantal, and she said her name, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but Chantal Miyagishima. I think I said that right, Miyagishima. She even has a pronunciation in her presentation. I should have written out the pronunciation, but she was talking all about work-life balance. So that was, and that's something for me. I think it's hard for some of us to admit that we're workaholics and that we work a lot. I am one of those people. I tend to get sucked in and hyper focused on things. And my issue has always been being as productive as possible while I'm working. I get distracted really easily. I'm like, okay, I'm doing Etsy orders, but I need to order this off of Sticker Mule for my Etsy shop. Oh, and I need to answer this message on Instagram. Oh, and I need to go make this graphic on Canva. Oh, and I need to schedule this on YouTube. And it goes on. And then I look, and after 2 hours, I haven't actually finished anything. So I'll get like halfway done with one thing and then say, I've been working on this too long. I need to move on to the next thing. So I did want to watch this presentation because I thought maybe I could get something out of it. And the first thing that she said is you need to figure out what your main goal is. And for me, that's better productivity so that it's easier for me to turn off when it's time to turn off with the business. So instead of spending 5 hours in a day working on a million different things and then never finishing anything, then it's hard to feel like I did a good day's work, and I tend to work longer, if that makes sense. So I'll stay on the computer even longer because, well, I didn't even finish anything completely. So I have to finish something. So that was my goal. So she said, pick your goal. And then let's see. I said, I'm definitely overworking. I want to make sure that I have more time with my husband where I'm not talking about work or working or being on my phone working, and that's where I'm struggling. So that was her thing. Pick your goal, figure out where you struggle the most. And so that's definitely me. And then she goes in to talk all about creating the boundaries that you need to reach those goals. And she has some great specific boundaries and goals, boundaries that you can set. And she makes sure to say this is not easy. Setting boundaries is not easy. Changing things is not easy, but you can do it. And you just have to make sure you show yourself grace, which I talk about all the time, because working in a craft industry, you're always trying new things. You're going to fail. You're going to fail because we all fail. We're all learning new things, and you have to show yourself grace. And so it's the same thing with behavior change. If you're trying to do new things or set new boundaries or try something different with your business, you have to show yourself grace because you know it's possible that you might fail, and that's okay. That's perfectly normal. That means that you're working towards change. So from here, she talks about her organization station. And this is 4 things. Setting your work hours is the first most important thing. Assessing and evaluating your week, and that's both personal and business. Making a prioritized list, and then making a game plan. So setting work hours, she talks about this a lot. I'll go into it with each thing because she actually goes through different types of boundaries that you can set. But setting work hours is a big deal, and it's something that I need to work on. I think my problem is I don't want my work hours to be the same every day. So I struggle with that side of things. I want to have the freedom to just say, no, I don't want to have to work from 8 to 5 every day. So some days I may want to be in the garden in the morning and work in the afternoon and work through the night. So that's a goal that's a little more difficult for me because I like the freedom of working from home and working on my own schedule and not having to set work hours. So there's a balance there that I probably have to find. And let me know if you guys work from home or if you're running your business full time or even part time. Let me know if you set yourself work hours and if you're able to stick with them. Because I've only met a few people who can, and I think it's difficult. Okay, so the second one was assessing your week, evaluating and assessing your week, both business and personal. So really looking at the beginning of the week or even on a Sunday, you can look ahead and say, this is what this week is going to look like, and really start getting a game plan together for the week. Making prioritized lists for the week and even for each day, which is really important. That is something I do. I have a planner, and I'll show you guys my planner. I love this planner for one specific reason. Let me go to a page that does not have stuff written on it. Okay. I love this planner because I have a little bit of space for each day of the week, and I can prioritize things that have to get done on that day. That may be Zoom calls, scheduled appointments, scheduled deadlines that I have to meet happen here. And then over here, I can create to-do lists that I would like to get done this week. But in some cases, if it's lower down here on the page, I may be able to push it to the next week. And that's usually what I do. If I get to Friday and there's still things over here on a list, I'll cross them off and I'll move them to the next week. So that's why I have been using this exact planner since I was in college. I love this planner. So yes, check that out. It's Moleskine. It is the Moleskine weekly planner. They have a daily, a monthly, and a weekly. This is the Moleskine weekly, and it is the 5.5 by 8.5, something like that. It's like the middle of the road size. But I do that. So prioritized to-do lists means the things that have to get done, the things you would like to get done, and the things that are like wishful thinking, but it's probably going to get pushed to the next week, and that's okay. So prioritizing. And then you make a game plan, which is why I talked about finding a planner that you like, finding a planning app that you like, finding some kind of software that you like, maybe an app on your phone. It depends on what you like to do. I like to write things down. Why my notes are handwritten. But actually chart it out. Chart out your week, chart out your to-do lists. You may have multiple apps. You may have an app that's just for your to-do list, and you may have like a Google Calendar or something that has your specific deadlines. Now, here is something that I don't do, and I probably should, is setting time frames for each task. That's a difficult one for me, but I think that's why I continue to struggle with the same thing of like, I'll say, okay, I need to make a graphic for my next YouTube video, but then all of a sudden I get sucked into Canva and I've been working on the same graphic for 3 hours and I still hate it. So I move on to something else and I never finish that task. So that's why it is important. It's something that I need to continue to work on and try to set time limits for the tasks that I'm working on so that I don't just squirrel. Okay, something else, and say, no, I'm going to work on this for an hour, and after an hour it has to be done. And hopefully less than an hour, because I really shouldn't spend an hour making one YouTube graphic. But it happens. And don't forget to schedule your personal time. If you need to do yoga, if you need to take a lunch break, if you need to do a family outing, if you need to do laundry, if you need to take your kids somewhere, if you need to do grocery shopping, schedule it in your planner, because you are much, much more likely to actually do it if you schedule it and you give yourself deadlines and you schedule that time. Then you're much, much more likely to make sure that it happens than like wishful thinking, some point tomorrow I'll stop and do yoga. I did have someone who said they can't speak English, but they're a fan. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. I wish that they had a way to do like closed captions in different languages. I don't know if that's something that maybe Instagram will start doing. We'll see. I don't know. Okay, so here are the boundaries that you can start trying to set. And she really pushed people to try to pick 3 or 4 of these to set. The first one is setting your work hours in general and sharing them all over the place for your business. So if you have an Etsy shop, sharing your business hours in your Etsy shop, sharing them in your email signature, sharing them on your website, and at home. If you have a family or if you have another job, you can make sure that you're not overlapping. You can make sure your family knows that when you're working, all of that. Booking personal time. So we talked about this a little, but that was a general boundary, is make sure that you're actually booking and setting aside personal time, whether that's personal reading, spending time with family and friends, doing that, but booking that time. And then also setting aside some time for a no biz zone is what she called it, which I thought was really cool. Taking 30 minutes to an hour a day for yourself, or just making sure that during that time of the day you don't talk about your business. And that may be like if you are with your husband or your wife or your partner, they will probably appreciate it if all they hear about is business. But you say, okay, while we're eating dinner, while we're cooking dinner, or while we're getting ready for bed, if you watch TV or something or watch a movie before bed, that you're not going to be talking about your business or working on your business during that time. And that's something that I really need to start doing, is setting some time of like, I don't have to talk about it. I have to talk about it all day, every day. Email boundaries. This is another one. Setting work hours in your email signature. Turning on autoresponder that makes sure people understand that it might take 24 to 72 hours for a response. Setting a response time. Make sure people know they're not going to hear back from you immediately. That's going to save you a headache, and it's going to save them a headache, because they know what to expect. Like, you can have an auto response that goes out anytime you get an email outside of your work hours that tells people, hey, you're probably not going to hear from me immediately, because I have other things in my life that are happening. But you can let them know how long it will take, that they can expect to get a response from you. Turning off notifications, big one. I do that. The only notifications that I get now are Instagram messages. So if I get a message on Instagram, I get notified. I do not have notifications turned on for my email. I don't have them turned on for likes and follows on Instagram. I don't have them turned on for Facebook. So turning off your notifications, it is very freeing because the little light on your phone is not constantly blinking, making you want to pick it up. Blue Wave Crochet. Hey, Evelyn, I didn't watch that, but love the idea of setting business hours. Yes, I do not. I know it's a good idea, but I feel like if I set them, I'm not going to stick to them. I know I'm not. Especially my husband cannot stick to a schedule to save his life, which I love about him. He loves just kind of winging it. And he doesn't know what he's going to do at the beginning of the day. There's a ton of things he'd like to do, but I would never be able to pin him down to a schedule, which also means that if I'm in here working and he decides that he's going to go do something that requires me to help him or supervise or make sure that he doesn't hurt himself, he's going to yell in the house like, hey, can you come help me? And I feel like I should be available because that's why we decided to do this and work from home, because we wanted the freedom to do what we want to do. I don't now. I work anytime between 9 and 2 a.m. Yes, and that is the problem though. So it's finding a balance, I think, between the freedom of not setting work hours, but also not working all the time when I'm not specifically having work hours. So I need to work on it, but it's a continual process. And I think that's what's beautiful about choosing to work for yourself and work from home, is figuring out what works best for you and then finding that balance of what's right and what's best. Moving your app. So this was an interesting one. I don't think this would work for me, but she was talking about how if you open your phone and you have apps on your home feed, immediately when you open your phone up, try moving them to a different page. So you actually have to swipe to get to them. All of mine, I have to work to get to them. So moving my apps around on my phone wouldn't have been right for me, but that's a good idea. If that's something that, as soon as you open your phone, you see all of your apps with all of the little notification numbers on them, try moving your apps to a different screen. Spinning tails of WD, I need to try to set work hours for myself, even if they were loosey-goosey. Exactly. So maybe you just do not work past, 6 or 7 or 8 p.m. at night. Because if you're going to be taking a lot of breaks throughout the day, maybe you set that time of I have a do not disturb on my phone that turns on at 7 or 8 p.m. So literally no notifications come through. My phone does not make noise after 7 o'clock at night, and it doesn't start making noise again until 7 or 8 in the morning. So I love my do not disturb function on my phone, and not having notifications turned on. Okay, so social media boundaries. This is a big one. Setting aside business time and personal time. So use the tools that you have. Instagram even has a thing that will alert you. If you go into your settings, you can set an amount of screen time on Instagram. So you can set that. I have not done that. I probably should. Don't know if I will. We'll think about it. But there are other apps too that can help you with all the different screen times on your phone. So you can set those up if you're really struggling to not be on your phone 24/7. And setting aside time specifically to work on social media for your business, but then also some time to just personally be on your phone, because some of us really just like scrolling through reels, and it has nothing to do with building our business. I know for me, I am listening for trending sounds and trending videos and template ideas and things. But it's not always that way. Sometimes I just want to support my friends that are on Instagram. So setting aside those times, making sure there is a difference between those two times. Again, turning off notifications, trying to move your apps if that helps, and then using tools to help you with limiting screen time. Okay, more boundaries, learning how to say no. I talk about this all the time. Sometimes saying no can feel difficult because it feels like you're saying no to opportunities to make money. But a lot of times, sometimes making money, it doesn't matter if it's just because you're going to make money, because if you hate every moment of what you're doing, then it's not worth the money. I would rather say no to, for instance, someone saying, hey, can you make me a baby blanket? I'll pay you $250 for you to make this blanket. I'll probably still say no, because I would rather spend that time doing something else for my business that's still going to make me money, but it's in a way that I want to make money, as I don't really want to make baby blankets. I don't want to make throw blankets. So learning how to say no and set those boundaries. And This might be saying no to personal things or business things. So if you're kind of behind on your business stuff, you may have to say no to something like a friend's barbecue was her example in the presentation. So assess your workload now and in the future, check your weekly plans, see what you can shift around, and make sure you have those items prioritized so that you say, okay, I have a busy week, but like 6 of these things I could do next week if I need to. And then if someone says, hey, we're having a bonfire tonight, do you want to come over? Then maybe you can say yes. So finding that prioritization and making sure that you have that plan ahead of time so that you're not, I don't really know what needs to get done this week, so I'm not really sure if I can do this or not. Remembering that you're not a superhero, you shouldn't feel like you have to be a superhero, and you don't have to justify to others why you're saying no. Super important. Love all of that. And again, these are all from my notes. I'm just reading from my notes. This is not my advice. Some of it is stuff that I've written down, you know, as what I've thought of during the presentations. The other thing, let's see. Oh, I need to go let my dog in because he's kind of being crazy. Let's see if I can let him in the house with me. Give me just a second. So my dog freaks out when he hears lawn equipment, and my father-in-law just came over to bring a riding mower over to our house to be fixed, and so my dog was freaking out, and it's very annoying to everybody. So he's going to come and join me for the presentation. You can see his little snoot right here. Okay, so the next part is maximizing your time. Figure out if you're an early riser or a night owl and take advantage of that. If you would prefer to wake up early, make sure you get enough sleep. Try to wake up early, set your alarm, get yourself out of bed. Or if you are a night owl and you know that, just make sure that you're getting enough sleep and you do stay up late. If you'd rather work late than work early, you can do that. Using your lunch breaks if you have to maximize your time, but she said, you know, just make sure you're not doing that every day. You need time for yourself. You need time to take a break. So, you know, you can utilize some of that personal time if you have to, if you're running behind on your business. But again, prioritize your tasks so that you know when you can move things to the next week. If nothing else works, it might be time to hire someone. This was her final piece of advice. This could be for your bookkeeping, administration, communication, sending response emails, responding to people on Etsy, content creation, social media management, photographing your products, having people help you with crocheting. All of those things are things that you could do if you're kind of at a loss and you need to start kind of scaling and you just don't have the time in the day. She makes the comment that hiring people or buying software buys back time on things that you hate so that you can do more of what you love. And that's totally true. That's another reason that I say no to a lot of things. There are things that I could do that might make me money, but I am not going to enjoy them. So I would rather spend more time doing the things that I enjoy to make money that way. For some things in your company, you are replaceable. For a lot of the things in your company, you're irreplaceable. It's you. You built the business. You are the face behind it. But there are things like, for instance, you're not the only one who can run the finances for your business. Something like that. Or you're not the only one who can manage to create emails or blog posts for your business. There are people who could help you with that. And I think that was where she was going with that comment. Okay, so that was presentation number 1. The second presentation was how to grow a successful vlog. And this was from Allie Nicole of Looped by Allie here on Instagram. And I want to go through just the main points that I pulled from this because I am someone who is still trying to grow my YouTube channel. Let me know if you guys are on YouTube. I am still trying to grow. I have not gotten to a point where I can monetize it. Hello, Just Make a Knit. It's so good to have you here. Yes, finally caught the live. And this will remain on my Instagram feed if you want to watch it later. It will also be posted to YouTube. So it is available afterward to watch if you can't hang out and watch the whole thing. So some of her main points, and this was successfully vlogging or successfully creating a YouTube channel. One of those things is, remember, you can just use your phone. Videos do not have to be highly edited. They just need to be clear and easy to understand, which I think is very important. And I go back to that all of the time. I feel like I should always be using my, big DSLR camera for my videos, and I really don't have to. It's stressful to try to get that set up and to do the video because then I have to edit it on the computer. If I just use my phone, I can upload it directly to YouTube, and new phones are great these days. So instead of thinking, okay, should I buy all this equipment? Maybe you can just upgrade to the newest phone. If you have an iPhone, upgrade to the newest iPhone. If you have a Samsung or a Galaxy or a Google phone, just upgrade to the newest phone. And that's probably going to be cheaper than purchasing a whole bunch of equipment and mics and setups for you to start a YouTube channel. Just use what you have, start where you are, and make sure you're promoting your videos, promoting your business in your videos. This was interesting because when she said it, I was like, well, duh, that's why we're starting an Instagram channel. But I realized how easy it is to forget to even mention your business in your video. I do it all the time. I'll be doing a tutorial and maybe I'll forget to do an intro. Maybe I'll forget to tell people to check the description for more information or for where to find me. My descriptions are pretty good. I have kind of a copy and paste how to connect with me. So it's got my Etsy shop and my Instagram and my Facebook group and my email and all of that in the description. But sometimes I forget to even mention the business in the YouTube because I'm like, well, people are subscribed to me. They know who I am, but they may not be. If they're just searching YouTube and they find one of my videos and I never even mention, hey, I'm Evelyn of Pink Sheep Design, here's where you can connect with me, then, you're losing out on the potential success of that video, of having someone come back and continue to follow you, find you somewhere else, support you in another way, other than just watching that one video. So make sure you're actually marketing your business in your videos. Some of the mistakes that she mentioned were not uploading enough videos. She recommends uploading 1 to 2 videos a week. This is interesting because I'm torn. I'm torn on that advice because I don't want people to not start a YouTube channel because they feel like they're not going to upload enough videos for it to be successful. Going back to Pam's presentation yesterday of done is better than perfect, I don't want anyone to say, well, there's no way that I could upload 1 to 2 videos a week, so I'm just not going to start a YouTube channel. Don't do that. Go ahead and get yourself out there and then you can continue working on it. If you have good ideas for videos, go ahead and start doing that. You can always continue to optimize and grow your YouTube channel as you go. I don't upload 1 to 2 videos a week. Lately I have, and actually I take that back. I do now. Now I upload at least 1 video a week and I go live on YouTube. So I am doing 2 videos a week because I do my live here on Instagram and I upload it to YouTube, because I do my Pink Sheep and Friends now every Friday. And then I go live on Tuesdays on YouTube. So I am doing 2 a week. But before I started going live, it was like 1 to 2 videos a month that I was uploading to YouTube. So don't let that number stop you, but that is optimal. If you have the time to commit, try seeing if you can upload 1 to 2 videos a week. Don't upload super short videos and expect high growth. YouTube shorts, actually I do them because they do get me views and I think they have gotten me a few subscribers, but they don't count towards monetization. The views and all of that don't count towards monetization. So make sure that those aren't the only things that you're uploading. She recommends videos that are 15 to 20 minutes long, which for me, it's the high side on either of the scales. I do YouTube shorts and then I do lives that are like an hour long. So I do need to find space for some shorter videos that just give more of kind of the tidbit kinds of information. Thornwing, that's why I'm planning to go live regularly. Yes, more videos if you're going live. I tend to do better when I go live. I like having the interaction. I feel like I am much more stiff on videos that are not live because I just start to question myself. Do I sound silly? Whereas when I'm live, I'm like, people are watching, so I've got to get my shit together, So it's a little bit easier for me to do that, and I may do that in the future. I may actually just go live on YouTube for my shorter videos and then just post them, and I can change the title from a live chat to whatever my focus was. So I may start going live more often for shorter periods of time so that I can talk about different topics. Okay, good quality sound, clear videos. We talked about that. Don't branch out on too many categories. Stick to your niche. So if you're opening up a YouTube channel about crochet, try to stick with crochet and yarn advice. And don't, like, once you have a lot of things, if there's other things you want to bring in, like for me, there are some things I do with my hair. I might could do some hair tutorials. I would love to do some photo session tutorials, like photographing yourself wearing crochet items, because that is something that I love, is photography. So you could bring some other things in there, but not immediately. When you first start, try to stick with your niche and what you want your audience to follow you for. Let's see, Spinning Tales of WD. All her advice was the total opposite of the other YouTube presentations. I would have to compare. I didn't even look at my notes because I watched the other YouTube ones too, so I need to go back and look at that. Someone said, good morning from Sydney. Hello, so glad you are here. Thornwing said long videos and then 15 to 20. And I was like, glances at hour vlogs. Yes, yeah. So longer videos, I think it is good to have a mix though. So have your shorts, have your 15 to 20 minute, digestible information videos, and then have kind of your hour-long vlogs. Can confirm what she said about people liking to crochet with videos. That's one reason I like long videos. So you're actually crocheting together. Yes, exactly. And that's a lot about your audience. So if you want an audience that wants to crochet along with you, and that's who you're speaking to, then you're going to create more videos that are longer that people can actually crochet along with you. So that really goes back to that niche and that ideal audience and customer. So make sure you have a goal. I think this is important. What is your purpose? Why are you starting a YouTube channel? This could be something like create traction for your business, connect with your customers, because you enjoy the process. You're starting a YouTube video because you like doing videos. I think that's important too. Thornwing, she was talking about vlogs. Tula was talking about tutorials. I think they were teaching about different types. Yes, and they have very different YouTube videos. So I think that's important too. When different people are doing different tutorials, usually they're talking more about what they do with their channel. So their advice is going to be very different. And these are very different age groups of people too. These presenters, this was a much younger presenter than some of our other presenters. And the age difference affects the way that they approach having a YouTube channel and having social media. Because it's a different generation. So I think that comes in there too. So I said this is where I still struggle, because figuring out a goal for my YouTube channel has been difficult, especially for things outside of my lives. So trying to figure out what other types of videos I should be posting has been difficult for me. So that's somewhere that I can definitely do some homework. And the same thing with focus. What kinds of videos will you make, and what is your style? I feel like I know my style. It's pretty chatty. And I like doing the crochet alongs, and sometimes I like doing tutorials, but they're a little more difficult for me because most of my items are larger. So the tutorials would take a lot longer and it would be more cumbersome, and the editing process is longer. What makes you different? Define your style and what kinds of videos. So that's something that I get to work on, because I still don't have a super, super clear picture on that for me. And then your audience, who are they? Demographics, what are they interested in? Age, region, interests. And this is somewhere I've always struggled, because my customers are so varied. So having like an ideal target customer has been very, very difficult for me. I know most of them are my age and are similar to me, but not all of them. It is very, very different. So that's something that I am always trying to work on, is narrowing down and making sure that I am speaking to the people that are the most loyal customers. Okay, experimenting, trial and error. This is where I'm at right now, trying out new things and making sure that you're using your analytics as you're uploading videos to see which ones are doing better. And you can continue to emulate that. If there's a video that you really enjoyed making and it's doing really well, then that's like the perfect mix. And you should try to do more of that, because you're going to enjoy it and it seems to be speaking to your customers. So analytics are important, and I need to focus more on that. I think after Tula's presentation earlier this week, I realized that I do not use my analytics on YouTube as much as I should. I'm pretty good at using them here on Instagram to see what's working, but YouTube not so much. So I have to get better at that. Another point from her was to connect using other platforms like Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, but then also responding to comments on YouTube. So if you get comments on your videos, be thankful and respond to them, because there are a lot of people who wish that people would comment on their videos. So make sure that you're connecting there, letting people know where they can connect with you further and actually have conversations. If they want to send you a message, where are you on social media and how can they find you? Let's see. And she also mentioned to try going live. So if you have a YouTube channel and you haven't gone live, if you have a social media channel and you haven't gone live, try going live. It's a great way to really interact with the people who are subscribed to you and watching you, and talk to them and see what they like, see what they enjoy. Even if you just go live to work on a project and talk about that project, that's usually the simplest way, I think, to start. And set yourself, say, I'm going to go live for 15 to 30 minutes to start out, see how it goes, and start there. And then her last point was to have patience. Growth does not happen overnight. I think that's important with any aspect of our business. When we're trying something new, it's not gonna happen overnight. So you have to have patience, show grace. You're gonna screw up. Maybe this video won't do very well, but that's okay, and that's not a reason to quit. You want to keep trying and keep seeing what's best for you in your business. Your personality matters, so be yourself, be genuine, and you'll attract followers who like you for you. And I always talk about this. I think that if you are starting a handmade business where you are the face of the business, it's a lot easier to market yourself when you're just being who you are. You're not putting on a show. You're not trying to be someone you're not. It just makes it's easier once you get comfortable in front of the camera to continue getting in front of the camera and continue talking to people, because you're just being who you are. And I think it's very natural because it's who you are. Okay, so the next presentation, there's two more, I think. Let's see. Yeah, two more presentations that I watched today. This one was creating a loyal fandom with Katie Brown, who is at Hooked by Katie, Kati. So you can find her. She does fantastic amigurumi, like dragon and mystical creatures patterns. So really, really awesome. You need to check her out. And I'll run through some of these key points from her presentation. Stop focusing so much on followers and focus more on your actual income and your customers and the relationships that you have with them. So she talks a lot about ignoring vanity metrics, which I do think is important, because you have to know that more followers does not always equal more income. So you can play that comparison game all you want and say this person has 100,000 followers. They have to be super, super successful and making all of this money. And I promise you that that's not the case. I do not see exponential growth when I have a ton more followers that I get a ton more sales. It just doesn't work that way. You really have to make sure that you don't feel like your business isn't successful because your social media accounts are not growing as fast as you would like them to. She mentioned there's lots of advice out there, but are we asking the right questions? Who is my customer and how can I best serve them is the question that she says you should be focusing on. Social media, in the end, is all about people and being social. So having those connections and having that community, making real relationships. And she talked about how making real relationships will help you create super fans. You want to identify your ideal customer, and your ideal customer is not everyone. And it's not everybody is going to want to support you, feel connected to you, want what you're selling. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have a specific group of people who really, really, really loves what you're selling and would buy anything that you put out in the world because they want to support you. And then you're going to have people who might buy from you every now and then. They may not be super fans, but they're there. And then you're going to have people who just, your stuff is not for them, and that's okay. So it goes into, and if you're interested in learning a lot more about finding your ideal customer, be sure to watch her video, because she goes into this really in depth, and she talks about, she's got a worksheet that you can use on finding your ideal customer. So going through all the different questions that you can ask, creating like a customer avatar, which is like this one specific individual that is your specific customer, which is something that I don't do. I've tried it before. It didn't work out for me. Maybe I need to try it again. But I hear it a lot. So I know it's important. I know it's worth looking into, especially if you're just starting out with your business. Your target customer, she also said your target customer can look a lot like you, but it shouldn't be you, because you don't need what you're selling. You're already making it. So the person that you're selling to can be similar to you in a lot of ways, but figuring out what those ways are and how that target customer is different from you. Let's see. Now it's time, once you figure out who your ideal customer is, to find them in the wild. And so this, and I actually love this advice, Facebook groups. So she talked a lot about using Facebook groups to find your ideal customer. Renaissance Dreaming says, I came in late and I missed her name. It is Katie Brown. at Hooked by Katie here on Instagram, and that's Kati, so you can find her there. So looking for Facebook groups that are very specific. So for me, that would be like beginner friendly crochet groups, fast pattern crochet groups, bulky yarn crochet groups, like the specific things about my patterns that would make sense in a niche down group is where people who would be looking for my patterns would be. Size inclusive crochet patterns, plus size crochet patterns. Those are areas, colorful crochet, you know, things like that. And that is homework that I'm going to be going in and seeing if there are some Facebook groups I can join that would make sense for me to share some of my patterns that people might be interested in. She goes into the fact that hashtags are important. I think hashtags are great still. I do not think that they are like dying out in the social media world, because on Instagram, hashtags are still searchable. So you are literally allowing your work to be searched in a way that's not specifically for your account. So if someone is searching for size inclusive crochet patterns, if I'm using that hashtag and someone's never heard of me, but they follow that hashtag, then my posts may end up in their explore or their home feed. So it's important to see who are your target customers, what hashtags are they following? And you can see that if you go to some of your top customers, like if you have top repeat customers who love everything you do, go look and see what hashtags they're following, because most likely other customers that are going to support you in the same way are going to be in some way similar to that person. See what hashtags they're following and start incorporating some of those hashtags into your posts. So find and follow some of the hashtags that your customers are following. And then branding says a lot. Think about your customer when designing your logo and designing your branding. What is going to speak to them? What are they going to be looking for as a customer? And then she really dives into messaging and figuring out the right messaging that's going to speak to that ideal customer. You want to figure out what you actually do for your customer. How do you serve them? And a good example of that, you know, I sell crochet patterns. So obviously, if someone is looking for crochet patterns, they come to me and you know, they can buy patterns. That's part of what I do. Yes. But I also provide patterns that are beginner friendly. So if there are people who are just starting out and they want to make their first wearable item and they don't want to feel intimidated, then I can help encourage them and increase their confidence by providing them a pattern that is going to boost their confidence to help them make something that they've never made before and not feel overwhelmed by the task. So something like that, you have to think on that deeper level. Also, I work really hard to make sure that my patterns are size inclusive and fit all sizes. So I want people who maybe have tried to make wearable items in the past from patterns that say that they're size inclusive, but they just don't end up looking right on their body, to provide patterns that really do fit all bodies and look good on all bodies, you know, and build that confidence when they make something for themselves and it fits really well and they feel good in it. And that's important to me. So things like that deeper level of what do you provide to your client? And for me, I want to provide empowerment and confidence and feeling like no matter what level they are, they can make amazing things and do really well at that and have a community of people that support them. So thinking on that deeper level for your business. And I wrote down a few things. How do I serve others? She writes down allowing people to express themselves through crochet. For me, I also want people to feel like they can experiment and customize with my design. So I make them super, super simple so they're easy to customize and change to people's liking. I like to allow people to escape with a simple, quick project that people can pick up and put down as needed, or they can do to take a break from more intensive crochet projects. I want to improve confidence in people's skills, even as a beginner. So I was writing these down as she was asking in her presentation, how do you serve your customers? And I want people to sell products from my pattern. So I can help people build a business. If they go to craft shows, I 100% support people selling finished items from my patterns. And I think that's really important. And in some cases, I have a craft show bundle. So if you buy my pattern craft show bundle, it's 5 different patterns and they were my top sellers when I used to do craft shows. And I even have a suggested MSRP to help people with pricing. So things like that are important to me as well in serving my customers and making them feel confident in pricing their items and having these great items that will sell really well. Let's see. Now, once you have your message and you know who your ideal customer is, Katie says to make sure that when you do anything for your business, when you post on social media, when you send out an email, when you do any kind of messaging, you want to ask yourself 2 questions. Does it speak directly to your ideal customer? And does it serve them? And so if you have to say no to either of those, then it's probably not what you want to put out there as your business. So I think that's important. She did say too, make sure that you're creating content that serves your ideal customer and isn't just asking them to buy things from you. And I do think this is important. She does give a good percentage. I like this. Only 25% of your social media posts should be specifically asking your customers to do something for you, like buying something from you, going to check something out, doing something. The rest of it should provide something for them. And then she goes through all of these different ways that you can provide things for your customer. Something like showing your expertise, that's sharing like little tutorial or process videos. Showing off pictures of finished items that aren't for sale just to show the process or show a specific custom order, not actually asking them to go buy something. Interesting facts about yarn or stitches or fiber or color or fashion or how you get inspired or different ways that you can share on social media. Offering proof, like sharing reviews, sharing customer photos, obviously with permission, but sharing those actual real stories from your customers. Helping people with pain points. So if that's tutorials, sharing different techniques that work really well for you. I remember one of my best tutorial videos was how I weave in my ends. That was a really, really great video that a lot of people, and I was like, this is common knowledge for me, but it's not for everyone because we all do things differently. And we have all come to these techniques because it's trial and error. And we say, okay, this didn't work. What would work better for me? And then that means some people may not have figured that out. So you can't assume that something you share is common knowledge. Let's see. Encouraging and inspiring. So I like to do a lot of these posts that are just specifically meant to encourage people or bring them some joy. It's as simple as coming on to a reel and saying, I hope you guys have a really great day today. Because sometimes we don't hear that. And it's nice if you're scrolling through and it's just having a nice compliment or something that can bring you a little bit of joy. Behind the scenes stuff, show people your workspace, show people your process, even if it's messy. Show them how you package up your items, relevant things in your life. She did mention not to overshare. Don't get too oversharing or personal on your page. You can share things to connect with people, but you don't want to post 4 times in a row about like your kid's soccer game. If it's specifically a business page, if you have a personal page that you're just sharing some of your items, it's different. But if you're really trying to go on that professional side where you have a brand and your brand has its own Instagram, you don't want to get too personal. Answer people's questions. If you have common questions that get asked, you can answer those as a post. And then there's let go of people who aren't your people. Stop focusing on followers, because if you do, you're going to end up with people who may not be following you for the right reasons. Focus on your relationships, grow a following of your people, and just keep being consistent with your messaging. So if you've been all over the place with your messaging and you're just now focusing in and saying, this is my ideal customer, this is who I'm going to talk to, you may lose followers. That's going to happen. It's normal. So just stay consistent, because you're losing the people who are not as interested in specifically what you are doing and talking about and selling. And that's something that you want, because you don't want people following you who don't actually want to support you in any way. They're just following you. So you want people that are following you who actually want to purchase from you and support you and talk to you and have conversations and have a relationship. Okay, so this is the last one. There's 2 more. We'll be quick though. Okay, so this one is all about customer service issues. I'm going to go quick. I actually want to do a whole YouTube video on this, because I feel like I give a lot of people advice when they're dealing with difficult customers, like on Etsy. And I feel like the techniques that I use work really well. So be on the lookout for that YouTube video all about how I deal with difficult customers on Etsy. And not even difficult customers, difficult situations, because it doesn't mean the customer's difficult. They just may be having a difficult time, and I need to make sure that I see things from their perspective, so that I don't get crazy or get, she mentions snarky a lot in this video. I like that word. Okay, so customer service is the support we provide before, during, and after a purchase. It's not just when people have an issue. You should have customers on your mind the entire lifetime of their journey through your shop, and make sure that you're providing what they need the whole time instead of just when they have an issue. Have them in mind from beginning to end. So some of the things you can do before a sale even happens is making sure that you have strong, clear, and accurate product listings and descriptions. Answer any common questions that you've gotten in the past in your description. Be as clear as you can, lots of detail with your descriptions. Like for me, when I have a pattern listing, I have all of the information that's on the first 2 pages of my pattern in the listing description. What's the gauge? What's the hook size? Is it a beginner-friendly pattern? What are all the materials they're going to need? What is the yardage? What are the measurements? What's the gauge? All of that is in the description so that they can really be sure, okay, I have everything I need for this pattern before I actually purchase it, instead of saying, man, I hope this is the yarn weight that I thought it was, or I'm going to have to go buy some yarn. So I like to be very, very clear. If it's a product, let them know the dimensions. What are the sizes? When is it going to ship? What is the packaging going to be like? Make sure that there's nothing they have to wonder about or assume. That was a big thing, is make sure that you're not allowing your customers to have things that they're going to have to assume or infer, because that can cause frustration for them, and it's going to cause frustration for you when they come back and ask questions. You're like, how would you not have known that? Well, they don't. They're not in your head. They can't read your mind. You have to provide that. And less is not more when it comes to a product description. Let's see. Extend your shipping timeline so that if you get it out early, yay, I do that for sure. I definitely give myself a little more time. Another thing to make things easier on yourself is to use Etsy saved replies. I think it used to be called snippets. I use them all the time. I have thank you letters that go out to people, and the thank you letters are written differently depending on what they buy, but I do have those saved. And then I personalize them once I get the bulk of that information in there. But I'll have a saved message for people who buy stickers, for people who buy enamel pins, for people who buy mugs. Because with the mugs, I have to tell them, this is shipping not from me. So this is shipping from a printer. So, it may take a little bit longer for you to get the shipping info. I can't ship it the next day because I don't have them in stock. So it's just reminding people all of these things so that they can be at ease and they're not having to wonder. Set up an FAQ section on your Etsy site or on your website. I don't even know if I have one, so I have it written down, an asterisk, that I need to go check and see if I have an FAQ on my Etsy, because I don't know if I do. And it is important, because things like, how do I download my digital files? That's a big question that I get all the time. And I actually have a saved snippet in Etsy that I can send people on how to download their files. But like, when will my item ship? Do you do custom orders? Anything common that you come up with, and then you can add to it as you go. As you continue to get questions from customers that feel more general, because you get them a lot, you can go ahead and answer those in your listing and in your FAQ. Set customer service response expectations. Auto replies should be set up. I have auto replies in my shop so that if I don't get back to someone myself within 4 to 6 hours, an auto response gets sent out saying that I haven't been able to get back to them yet, but I will. And I think it says between like 24 and 48 hours, I'll get back to them. Post how long they should have to wait for a response. Make sure it's an attainable time. Respond within 24 hours on Etsy for sure. If you're trying to get star seller, that is important on Etsy. But you only have to respond to the very first message within 24 hours, and auto responses count. So you can use auto responses if you need to, if you know that you're someone who's not going to be able to get back to someone quickly. Maybe you have a full-time job and Etsy really is just kind of a side hustle or something that you do very small on the side and you don't have time to respond. Under promise and over deliver. Again, making sure you give yourself more time than you think you might need, just to be safe, because stuff happens, life happens, and you may get behind. So give yourself a little bit of a buffer. Be clear that you are there for them and want to help, and that you're happy to do so. This is really great, and this is what I want to go into in my YouTube video, but it's really just saying that if you have a difficult customer, take some deep breaths. Don't immediately start pounding on your keyboard, getting upset because you're like, this was in the listing, why didn't they read it? Take a deep breath. She goes into this a lot. So like, definitely watch this if you're interested more in customer service, but I'm going to definitely do a YouTube video about it, because this is how I feel when you have someone who asks you a question and you're like, this is written everywhere on my site, but you didn't read it. But she made a good point that some people may have been shopping on Etsy before and the sellers never provide this information. So why would they go look for it? So they feel like they've always had to reach out to the seller. So you never know what their past has been like, you know, purchasing from small handmade sellers. And so to keep that in mind and have patience, be grateful. They are still supporting you. They have purchased from you. And, you know, use emojis to be happy, even if you're not happy. I love that she says that, to use emojis, because sometimes it's difficult to come across as friendly in our tone on the internet when you're writing out things digitally. I love using emojis, exclamation points. Even when I'm not feeling the greatest, it allows me to make my message seem even friendlier than I may be feeling about the situation. And it makes them feel valued. Even if you're frustrated with them, it's okay. Again, take a deep breath. They haven't left you a bad review. They messaged you first. They asked for information. And we can talk about bad reviews too, because I have feelings on those. And it's not bad feelings. I'll do a YouTube video. Okay, last presentation. This was Karen V. Miguel of Canada Bliss. I only wrote a few things down about this. This was about scaling your business. So if you're trying to grow your business over time exponentially, there are a lot of things, and hers is specifically focused on products, finished products. She sells finished products. But some of the things that she talked about that are important to keep in mind if you want to scale your business is knowing the big picture is important and having larger, further out goals for your business, making sure that you have a plan. So actually write things down, have a plan for your business. You need to find a niche, and you have to find your ideal customer. Those are very, very important. We talk about them a lot with small business, but as you start to grow your business, it becomes even more important to niche down and figure out who your ideal customer is and who you're actually talking to. You need clear foundations for your business. You need to make sure you're actually making a profit before you start trying to scale your business larger. You want to continue to try and increase efficiency and productivity. So as your business starts to grow, are there ways you can be more efficient or more profitable? Whether that's increasing your prices, buying things wholesale, you know, what are those things you can do as you are doing more things? Like right now, I went from purchasing 50 stickers at a time from Sticker Mule to like 250 stickers at a time because I can get them at a discount. I know they're going to sell. It might take a while, but it saves me money in the long run if I can go ahead and purchase things in bulk. I think when I bought enamel pins the second time, I bought like 160 of each design so that I could get to the threshold where they would give me a larger discount. So that's important to keep in mind as you're trying to scale your business. Try to streamline things in a way, like she says, to buy in bulk. This is even including yarn if there's a possible way for you to do that. Like I know Hobie allows you to get discounts if you purchase in bulk. Being too generalized can cause burnout. You're less likely to be able to find help because your items are so varied. And then let's see. Building labor into your cost of your items and making sure that you're charging enough is extremely important. And she did a really good comparison of two different people who were making similar things and how one of them set themselves up to be able to scale and one of them did not. So if you're really interested in this topic, definitely go check out her full presentation. You can watch it for free until tomorrow night. And if you have not gotten a free ticket to the Crochet Business Summit, you still can using the link in my bio, and you'll have access to the presentations from today and from yesterday until tonight, and the presentations from today until tomorrow. And then you can buy an all access pass. I think it's like $30 or something like that. And you can have access to these videos for a lifetime. So if they sound really good and you just don't have time right now, you can make that purchase and you can watch all of them. Focus on the artisanal quality, the high quality, and the uniqueness of handmade items. And market them that way as a specialty item, because you're able to then price it higher. And usually people who are looking specifically for that kind of item are not going to be as concerned with the cost because they want exactly what you're selling. So her last three big key points were to identify, get clear on what you want to make and have a plan, ignite, finding cost savings, on frequent activities to increase your profit margins. So buying in bulk, things like that. And then the last one is iterate. Double down on what's working. Hire people to help with activities that generate the most revenue. So she did talk about how if you have a handmade business that is booming and it's selling specific niche products, so like you sell amigurumi teddy bears and that's all you sell and business is booming, but maybe you just can't keep up, you could hire someone to help you crochet those items because you know exactly how those items are supposed to be made, and it would be easier for you to actually train someone and pay someone to help you create those items. Whereas if you're making a million different things, you're not going to have time to train someone on how you make your baby blankets, your bears, your booties, your hats, your sweaters, your slippers, and all of those different things if you're too generalized in what you're selling. So that was what I really got out of that last presentation. I think that's everything. Like I said, the only one that I didn't watch today was the basics of yarn dyeing. And I feel like I got some good stuff out of these. I do have some homework today, especially with getting the FAQ on my Etsy page. If I don't, I need to go check that. But I hope you guys found this helpful. This is going to remain on Instagram, so you can rewatch this anytime you want. You can rewatch the recap. I will also be posting it to YouTube. So I did a recap every day of the summit, so you can go back and watch my recaps if you found this helpful. And like I said, go check out the classes. You still have time to watch them. And again, you can get the all access pass still if you want access to all of the videos and classes from this week's summit to check them out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this today. I believe I'm going to do my regular tomorrow. I usually go live every Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time. Usually it's a Pink Sheep and Friends. I did not schedule one for tomorrow because I could not remember if the summit had something happening during that time on Friday, but I believe I'm still going to do my live tomorrow, and I may just be crocheting. I have a couple of work in progress pieces that I can share with you guys and, give you guys an update on that. But I think that's everything for now. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye guys. Happy hooking.